Seconded by Jim.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Frank Burrs is absent. Jim Herbert.
Yes.
Grant Jones is absent. Sharon McMillan.
Yes.
Jerry Pribble.
Yes.
JJ Strybosh is absent. Sam Trousseau.
Yes.
John Wilson is expected, and Todd Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Media report, Betsy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just some standard social media from the past month. The highest viewed post was about us hiring lifeguards. There was a post on the science of oxygen levels under the ice, and just a post about mentorship of the youth within the watershed.
Very sorry. The well digger in here.
And project tracking, Elizabeth?
It was sent out in advance. Staff are obviously busy with a variety of projects, gearing up for the camping season already, and developing plans for tree planting, unless there is any questions, ordered in advance.
Okay. Recommendation that the staff report on matters arising be received. Sharon? Seconder? Jim?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Pribble.
Yes.
Trousseau.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
And Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay. Anybody want to bring anything out on the correspondence, or do we want to receive that?
The only thing I would mention is that there is a variety of, we can go to the next slide, there's a variety of local annual meetings coming up at CAs. Lower Thames is February 19th. They're celebrating 65 years. Catfish is on February 19th, St. Clair on February 26th, and March 6th. Because of the atmosphere that we have at the CAs right now, I am going to try to attend as many as I can. And if any other board members are attending, if you could just let me know if you're interested in attending any of those, and I can RSVP.
I think it'd be important if we could attend those to support everybody.
I think Lower Thames has the free lunch.
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, we can just have a motion to receive.
Okay.
On it.
Move and seconder. Lori and John?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Pribble.
Yes.
Trousseau.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay. Statement of revenue and expenses, draft audited financial statements.
So I'm just going to do a little bit of preamble before I put it over to Jim Frederick and Scott Travers from Graham Scott Ends. We conducted the audit with them the week of January 26th to 28th. We have a positive year-end position of $288,912. That's mainly, a large chunk of that is due to capital funding that we received this year in the amount of about $153,000, as well as WSIB rebates and a very successful camping season. We did expect to have a drawdown on the operating reserves, about $237,000, but only ended up bringing about $5,000 over to balance off the stewardship department. Overall, there's a net gain to the capital reserves and operational reserves. It was another successful year, and again, mainly due to the work and success of the campgrounds. But having said that, I'll turn it over to Scott, and he can do a quick overview of the statements.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. For those who don't know him, I think most do, Scott Travers from Graham Scott Ends, and we got Jim Frederick here as well.
Who are you again?
We haven't been doing it in a while. I'll be going with certain parts of the audited financial statements for December 31st, 2025, Kentucky Conservation Authority. This is going to consist of our auditor's report. Actually, that's the management acknowledgement report up there right now, but auditor's report and select reports from the financial statements, and then an audit findings letter. The first page that's up there is our management responsibility financial reporting. So what this outlines is that management responsible for those financial statements and the reporting systems designed to provide the information. So it's a little bit different than we're providing. Our role as auditor, we provide an audit report on the information that's kind of generated from these systems. And we ask Elizabeth to sign that as she's providing all the information and kind of oversight of all the systems as management. Click over the next slide there. Here's our auditor's report, and as usual, I'll go through kind of a breakdown of what the auditor's report consists of. The first section of the auditor's report, so that first paragraph there is our opinion. Okay, so this explains kind of that we have an unqualified opinion on these financial statements, and that our audit concluded that the financial statements of the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority were free from material misstatement. So the auditor's opinion is stated as: we have audited the financial statements of Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, which comprise the statement of financial position as of December 31st, 2025, and the statement of operations and accumulated surplus, statement of changes in net financial assets, and the statement of cash flow for the year ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. So in our opinion, the organization's financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the organization as of December 31st, 2025, and the results of its operations and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian public accounting standards. Okay. So the next section of this is called Basis of Opinion, which we conduct our audit in accordance with certain standards. We call it the Canadian Auditing Standards. So it's a big book of guidance on how to do what we're doing. Followed by the next section, which is the responsibilities of management, which I kind of went over. So it outlines that responsibility of managers, those charged with governance, which is you guys, is to say that the notes of control that appropriately reflect these transactions are your responsibilities and not ours. Next section, going back up a bit there, kind of jumped over there. Well, only one page up there. Okay, there's a second page to it, which talks about kind of what the auditor's responsibilities are. So it's kind of goes on to 2 pages. It kind of outlines what an audit is, that we're looking to obtain reasonable assurance that statements are free from material misstatement, that will communicate any deficiencies or findings to those charged with governance. Okay, so this report, I guess, we're gonna have it approved at the AGM the next couple of weeks, February the 25th. So now we can go over to the, I think it's the statement of financial position, right? So our assets and liabilities at December 31st, 2025. So assets being what the organization owns and liabilities being what the organization owes, with comparatives for December 31st, 2024. And then we break these down into such things as financial assets. So the top section there of cash, short-term investments, and receivables, which total about 2.2 million. And the financial liabilities such as payables and other revenue deferrals received funding for, which haven't spent yet, of about $615,000 to have our net financial assets, sorry, 1.5 million. Our non-financial assets, obviously things we can't convert into cash, things you can touch, such as tangible capital assets, we're in about $4.3 million. With these total assets in excess of liabilities for the accumulated surplus number of 5.9 million. It's your statement of financial position. The next page will be your statement of operations and accumulated surplus for the full year ended December 31st, 2025, with comparative budget in December 31st, 2024 numbers as well. We'll see that we have the revenues, which are broken down by type, so that's user fee and other items, approximately 3.5 million, and the expenditures, which total 3.1. Those are broken down by kind of operation component of the organization, which gives you that total surplus that Elizabeth mentioned of 288,000. Okay, so in the agenda, I believe there's a full set of the statements, which I'm not going to go through, but they include others, cash flows, statement of earning, or statement of change in net assets, and other notes and explanatory information. Kind of explains how or the transactions are reported and kind of expands on what some of the numbers are presented in those accompanying 2 statements that we talked about. Okay, so we didn't go into too much detail, but should we know that these statements were reviewed and discussed with management prior to this meeting, and that there are no discrepancies with management from the results and the figures previously provided to the board, and that the financial statement report issued is that of an unqualified opinion, and that these financial statements were free from material misstatements. So the next page, I think, might be one more. Yeah, it's kind of a first page of our audit findings letter, which is required communication to those charged with governance. So here's where we report the results of the audit. And it summarizes topics like disagreements with management, reporting issues with internal controls, and significant estimates of risks that we were able to identify from our audit. And I guess it's comfortable to report that there was no significant issues to report to the board at this time. So we didn't consider anything that was significant enough to bring to your attention during our audit. That concludes, I guess, the quick presentation for our audited financial statements of the authority.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott?
Or Jim Council.
Jim? Jim's the quiet one.
Silent partner. I'll save it for the big meeting.
Lori?
Mine is on page 5 in regards to the revenue and expenditures, most specifically for Dalewood and Lake Whitaker. This is hoping to be a supportive statement to what the staff have been bringing forward. I just see the revenue for Dalewood and Lake Whitaker being very specific, but yet the expenses are not divided up. Because staff are recommending doing things like increasing the number of electrical sites at Dalewood to the number of 8, etc. And because we've had increased revenue at Whitaker due to the cabins, because the ideas that are coming forward from the staff to continue to increase revenue at both of those, I would just like to see the expenditures being the same. So it shows that Lake Whitaker is way up under revenue, Dalewood is flat. So it allows us as the board to do the strategic look and say, hey, we can do some increases to our revenue here. But I will say again, most of those recommendations that we will make at the board are based upon the recommendations that are coming from staff in regards to the glamping that they've talked about in the strategic plan, etc. So is there a will around to separate those 2 items out so that we can work at moving forward?
Chair Lori, so I'm understanding things. You see the revenue broken out between Lake Whitaker and Dalewood. So you'd like the expenditures broken out on the statements between Lake Whitaker. That's easy to do.
Thank you.
You can do that here.
Do we just need that at this level and not at the audited level?
Yeah, it's not required to be disclosed.
Yeah.
When you stretch the regional
Okay.
statements, like,
So that's part of it.
internally, that's also fine, but if you want it out.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says you can't do it either way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you want it broken out then? Is that what we're saying? Okay, yeah, I can arrange to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Mover and seconder to receive the reports.
I'll move.
Lori? John?
Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure, Jerry, you did send questions in advance. I sent answers back to you. I just want to make sure that you didn't want to say anything else before we move on.
Elizabeth, thank you. I didn't have a chance to go through the answers yet, but if you answer them, then if I do have any follow-ups, I'll get back to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the motion is just that you're receiving this report today. You'll approve the final statements at the annual meeting. And we're looking for a motion to execute those audit finding letters as well. So it's moved and seconded. Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Jim Herbert. Sharon McMillan. Yes. Jerry Pribble.
Yes.
Sam Trousseau.
Yes.
John Wilson.
Yes.
And Todd Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay,
Thanks, Jim.
thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you both.
See some later.
Oh. Like Tuesday, Thursday or? Yeah. Well, seniors, yeah, in the day, so. They're pretty busy, so, right? Oh, they're busy. All good. All right, take care. Talk to you later.
Take care.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah. For Jimmy later. Yeah.
All right, under new business, Jim had a couple of things
Yeah.
that we could bring up. Is
To the chair, thank you.
that okay with everybody?
Sure.
But we're not pressed for time, that's for sure, but I will mention the 2 things I wanted to mention. First of all, it was announced that for us at council and our mayor's update last night, maybe you're already aware, but your worship, the mayor will not seek re-election next year. He's decided to step aside. He'll have big shoes to fill. I remember when I first went on council almost less than 8 years ago, we had a lot of gray areas. And I'm sure Laurie could comment too, that we've just moved ahead with so many things. And, but wanted this group to know that he has going to resign and not seek re-election. But I would like, if possible, we should send a letter from Kettle Creek thanking him for his service over the years and support. If that's possible, I don't know. So, it's up to the council board to decide. Secondly, I was chatting with Dave Gregory last week, and I apologize for not calling Liz about this, but he told me they were getting a new boat for Lake Margaret and stuff like that, a bigger, better boat. And the old boat, they want to donate to Kettle Creek with motor. if you want to accept it, they're gonna give you the boat and the motor.
Maybe just for everybody, let everybody know who Dave Gregory is.
Pardon? Oh, Dave Gregory, fire chief.
Yeah.
Fire chief for
St. Thomas.
And they've decided to give you the old boat. I don't know if we just discussed it. If he's contacted you or not, but I don't have any problem if you want to contact them, because that's their plan. So I hope you can use it. Because I think he used to borrow the old one or something to do stuff, testing, and it doesn't matter. They're giving you the boat with the motor. So it should be a bonus for you if you ever thought of buying a new boat, getting a boat. So those are two comments I wanted to make, and I'll leave it up to Elizabeth to chat with Dave and just find out all the details.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dolly.
We wish Joe all the best in his retirement, if that's what I don't know if a fellow like that can retire, but anyways, we'll wish him the best in his retirement.
We'll still have his Wendy's.
Yes.
We did.
Yeah, you got one in, or what do you call it? Iberian.
Yeah. Okay,
Anyway, all good.
budget,
Thank you.
okay. We'll move on to the draft budget.
So just a quick update on that. Now that we have the final numbers for 2025, those actuals have been added into the budget and reference to the 2026 budget as well. To date, the budget has been circulated to our member municipalities. We've had no responses back. So we've added those actuals in, and if we can go to the next slide, there hasn't been a large amount of change in the actuals that you see before you in this latest draft. Other than I did have to increase what we're projecting for capital projects, just simply because some of the capital projects in 2025 were not completed. And so those have been added now into the 2026 budget. They're mainly around the hydro expansions. With the weather change quickly in November, they weren't able to get some of those projects done, but we've lined them up and we'll have them done before the spring. So that boosted the overall capital expenditures for 2026 to 338. Next slide. There was some slight adjustments to the operating reserves as well, bringing its total drawdown to around 266. One was the allocation of 10,000 to complete the design drawings for the Dalewood Dam, and then 150,000 associated with some floodplain mapping as well. Overall, just minor changes to the draft 2026 budget. And then I also included where the reserves are standing, both with where they ended 2025 and then the expected drawdowns of 2026. Those were also included in the advanced package. And I'm very comfortable with where the reserves are standing after 2025 and even with the expenditures planned for 2026.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the final draft for you to look at, and then you'll approve the budget at the annual meeting.
Okay.
So if there's any final questions between now and then, I'm happy to take them.
Any questions? I believe we truly appreciate all the effort that's been put into this, and also last year's budget and how efficient this organization is run.
Thanks.
Do we need a mover and a seconder?
We can receive the updated report.
I was just gonna see if Sam and Jerry, Sam and Jerry, do you guys want to move second something?
Actually, do you want? Sorry, Jerry. I will start. Elizabeth, with the questions I sent, as I said, I didn't have a chance to go through your answers. Was there anything kind of that you would want to comment on? Was there something kind of a bigger discrepancy, or no, just kind of simple explanations?
No, I think I could explain everything. Jerry mentioned that he thought, compared to the actuals, the budgeted revenue for the campground seemed relatively low compared to actuals. My explanation as to that is I always take a very conservative look at the revenues that we can project for the campgrounds. They can be very volatile, subject to weather, user use, things like that. The other thing is Lori mentioned, revenue for 2025 at Lake Whitaker was up. That's mainly due to the cabins. I would like one more year just to verify that that's a true reflection of what we can make off of those cabins before I inflate that revenue projection. So I did take a very conservative look at that, but again, the campgrounds run totally on their own without municipal apportionment. So I do take a more conservative look there. Jerry did point out one error, a slight error that I appreciate his attention to detail on. My one spreadsheet was not grabbing an amortization rate, and that's why those numbers were off between the summary and the department. So we'll make that correction on the final draft.
Okay, thank you. No more questions. Thank you. And just again, if I look at the budget, what we had for this year and what was accomplished, kudos, Elizabeth, to you and to your teams, and thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay. Mover and seconder, do
We didn't get a mover. So.
okay, mover and seconder, Sam, Sharon?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Pribble.
Yes.
Trousseau.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
And Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay. Next is Conservation Authority Act Regulated Area Mapping Update. Mayessa?
So I'm gonna lead the discussion, and
Okay.
then Maisa is gonna be available. Maisa, Jeff, and other staff are available for questions. So if you recall, back in April 1st, we got a new regulation, Ontario Regulation 4124. Included in that were various definition changes that affect our regulated area. The two key ones were the definition of a watercourse, and the watercourse definition very much narrowed, so that in the past it was looking at any depression. And now after April 1st, the definition of watercourse needs to have a defined channel with a regular flow of water. So that needs to be accounted for in our regulation mapping as well. And wetlands, the buffer around wetlands was significantly reduced from 120-meter buffer around wetlands to 30 meters. So in addition, the regulation set out that conservation authorities should be looking at their mapping annually to keep it up to date. And if there are any major changes, it should be released to the public for a 30-day notification period. So over the span of 2025, next slide, we undertook a qualified look at our regulation mapping. We hired a third-party consultant, Luna Geospatial, took a look at that, and they did a detailed report for us on how they went about looking at the new regulation and our existing mapping and updating those. So that was forwarded out in the advanced package. Overall, when they looked at the new watercourse definition, the new wetland, the reduced wetland buffer, and then took a look at the more up-to-date LiDAR mapping as well as the aerial mapping that we have now. They took a look at all of those things, and then overall the mapping reduced the regulated area of the authority by 1%. So we moved from 134 kilometers of regulated area to 130 kilometers of regulated area. And when we're talking about regulated area, that's accounting for things like the buffers, water courses and the associated buffer around that. And then the floodplain, and then the regulated area of that. Because it's regulated area doesn't mean that development in that area is prohibited. It means that people living in that regulated area, if you have land in that regulated area, you need to consult with the conservation authority so we can take a look at those hazards, see if there's any site-specific studies or possibly what you can do in that area with our permission. So when everything is said and done, we do have a slight decrease in the regulated area. If we can go to the next slide. All of our mapping right now is available to the public online through our mapping platform. So even before this regulation change, members of the public can go onto our website, put their address in, and they can tell whether they're in a regulated area or not. It really is meant to be used as a screening tool. So the act always usurps the mapping, but it is a useful tool both for our planning staff as well as the public to know whether or when they should consult with the Conservation Authority before undertaking alterations on their property. So next slide. So as I mentioned, the new regulation sets out that we should be doing this on an annual basis, and if there's significant changes, to release it online for 30 days. So with our new online mapping tool, makes it much easier to release this out to the public. So we've been able to set up a separate website that has this new updated mapping on it. So we'll release that out through our Watershed Connections website. We've also prepared correspondence to our municipal partners, advising them of this updated mapping. And we'll be sending correspondence to approximately 120 landowners whose property was not ever included in regulation. And now, because of these updates, it will be included in the regulation. So they'll get a letter as well as a map of their property showing how the regulation layer has changed in coordination with their property. We've also planned a social media campaign, and Jesse has prepared a video that people can view on how to interact with the mapping and understand it more fully. So when the mapping is released, you'll be able to search your own address. You'll see in red areas that have been added to the regulation. In blue are areas that have been reduced, and a black dashed line shows the new regulated area. So this will go out for a 30-day review and then come back to the board, and we'll report back on any concerns or things that we've identified during this 30-day review, and bring it back to the board in March. And at that time, then it would be finalized and put back up on the web as final. So I've asked Jessica, I think the next slide we can take a look at. Basically, Jess is going to take control of the screen and she's going to show you how the mapping works. Hopefully.
Looks like it was a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm pleased that we're able to have these layers available to the public so they can toggle on and off. They can see directly into their property, and also be able to reach out back to staff and get questions answered on their specific properties. So go ahead, Jess.
Can you see my mapping?
We can. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is Lake Whitaker. This, as Elizabeth was mentioning, the areas in blue is what has been reduced. And for Lake Whitaker specifically, that is the reduction of the regulated area for the wetland. And then the black is the area that is now currently regulated, and the red is what has been added. At the top, you can search for your property address. So I'm going to use the office as an example. So you just start typing it in. The program will continue filling it in, and you just select it from the drop-down. It will zoom straight to your property address. And as you can see, this is the office. We do have a little bit of reduction, but we do have these two red blobs in the center here of the Buckfield, and those are additions to the regulated area due to the creation of 2 new wetland cells in the Buckfield.
We'll have a social media campaign, and again, Jesse's video will show the public similarly what they can do here. The Luna The Luna report will also be up on the website for people to view any background information that they have. And Mesa will be sending the information out to member municipalities, developers, planning staff locally as well, so that they have a chance to see it as well.
Okay. Just a question about the two new spots that were created. What creates those? Is that just nature?
So those two wetlands are just out in the Buckfield here, and we created those.
Oh, okay.
Man created.
Okay. Jim?
Through the chair. Well, thank you, Jessica. See your face. Are you up there? Oh, yeah, I see you in the middle. For this report, I can't imagine, I mean, with you and your team putting this together, the time and effort you'd have to put into it. The more I looked at it, the more I realized you have to be so accurate on what you're retelling us, that what you're showing us is what is going to happen. And as I said, the more I read, the more I wish I knew more. To understand it all, personally, sometimes it's a challenge, but anyway, thank you for this. It's a good eye opener for everybody, and down the road, I'm sure it'll be great for the conservation area here. So, yeah, thank you for your work and your team. So,
John?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great for people to just to be able to access and see themselves where they are. I'm sort of already know the answer, but do you think it was wise to be reducing the area around wetlands?
That's not our decision. That came directly from the province.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
opinion doesn't matter there.
very good. Political answer.
Jerry?
Thank you. I was just wondering, and I know it's going to be more shared, but I don't know if it was already shared in some way, or my question is more, did we receive any feedback? Because as I mentioned during our last meeting or the previous one, I do have many issues with this in my ward. I have over 150 residents that are influenced by this, and certainly in negative way in terms of their property, in terms of the insurance, in terms of many other things. So I was just wondering if we shared it in any way, or if not, or if we received any feedback from public.
Todd to Jerry. So this hasn't been released publicly yet. We've come to you first. And so with your approval today, that is when we'll start the 30-day notice to the public. And as part of that 30-day notice, we've gone through the mapping and identified basically around 120 individuals whose land has never been regulated, but because of this update, will have some portion regulated. Those individuals are getting an individualized letter, including mapping of their area delivered directly to them. So March 25th is our next meeting, is when we'll bring back to you any identified concerns that we've heard over that 30-day period.
Okay, thank you for that. In this letter, are we, and I don't think we should speculate, but out of curiosity, are we including any potential consequences based on this, or just kind of a stating a fact, this is what it is?
I think the letter only speaks to the fact that nothing's really changing on their property. It just means that they have to consult with us before they undertake any development or site alterations on their property. Staff's contact is included in that, and we would expect that we would hear directly from them if they have any concerns.
Okay, thank you for that. I think last thing, as far as I know, Upper Thames kind of is doing the similar way, even though they published the first one, I think, end of last year. But there is a follow-up happening now. There were certain adjustments done. But I do have, as I said, the residents that actually they obtained lawyers and planners, and they're sending me and Upper Thames letters as well, just kind of heads up. But if you do, please, if there's any feedback from the residents, doesn't matter if positive or negative, if you can please share it with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Sam, did you have a question?
Well, yeah, I think it's important that we don't like oversimplify this and say, I've got some property owners who are being adversely affected because I don't think there are any conservation authorities who are trying to go out of their way to make different difficulties for property owners. And whenever there's an individual property owner who's being adversely affected, there's a good reason for that. And it's got something to do with the public safety. So I think we have to be really careful that we don't just take this overly simplistic view that, oh, I've got some property owners in my area who don't like this, because there's another side to this story. That's all.
Thank you. Lori?
One of the things that was stated is that this mapping is now gonna have to be done yearly. So who is responsible for that expense since it's mandated by the province?
To the chair, to Lori, that's just another expense that we're putting into our operating procedures.
Thank you. I knew the answer. I just wanted to
Okay.
put it out. Thank you.
And I think around the table, we have a lot of faith in the work that you all do here and the quality of it. So if there's things that are changing, I trust that it's been done properly.
Jerry has his hand.
Oh, Jerry, did you have another question?
Yes, I do. I just want to state and a couple of things, and just so you're aware, I've been talking with Upper Thames as well. And one of the frustration for me is that within the province of Ontario, each conservation authority, I'm more precise, not every one of them is using the same system. And that is my frustration that some of the municipalities, some of the conservation area, some potential residents in Ontario, I don't know if it's the right word, but saying we'll be better off or we'll be worse off. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was, I don't know if it was CTV or it was CBC News, and it was from Huron County. I believe, I could be wrong. But they had interviews with the residents, and they did say in terms of the insurances that they are struggling now, that either with the coverage, point one, and if not the coverage, then the premiums that have increased quite a bit. So again, it is not really just kind of one person. This is potentially, as I said, for me, when I went through the mapping, for me, it's just in my ward, it's over 150 people that are potentially, negatively affected. And we are looking, this is not a 1 year plan. This is many, many years. I forgot how many years. So I don't want to be inaccurate, but I think this is an issue for individuals. And in my ward, it's usually people 65, 70 plus that are going to be very much affected, who are already struggling. And, if I look at this plan, many of these people, they will not be even living in that time probably. So now last years of their lives, they are going to be struggling even more. So I just want to mention it. I'll leave it at, if there are any, as I said, if there is any feedback, positive, negative, if you could please share it with us. But thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I believe these regulations come from the province.
Mr. Chair, just to quickly qualify, I think we have to be careful that we don't mix floodplain mapping and regulation mapping. So they're two distinct things. Floodplain mapping, yes, different CAs across the province have regulate to a different standard. We have Hurricane Hazel here, some other CAs regulate to the 100-year storm. So the floodplain mapping might be different, but this is regulation mapping, which accounts for all of those hazards together and really is a screening tool for those hazards. And that is under one regulation for the entire province. So I think we have to be careful that we make those two distinctions when we're talking about mapping in general. But Jerry's point is taken. Certainly that's the point of this 30-day notice period is to hear back, not only from the public, but from our other partners as well. And so we'll use that time to do that and bring responses back in March. So what we're looking for today is, if we can bring the motion back up, is basically just acknowledgement and receipt of this report, and that we move it out to that 30-day notice period.
I'm not sure how to take over ownership again from Jessica, actually.
Okay, that's the note. The motion was in your advanced agenda. If we can have
Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Lori? You'll move
Jesse,
it?
you just have to share your screen.
Okay, I think I've got it here.
It's been moved by Lori. Is there a seconder? Sharon?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Jim Herbert.
Yes.
Sharon McMillan.
Yes.
Terry Bergle.
Yes.
Sam Trudeau.
Yes.
John Wilson.
Yes.
Todd Noble.
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Okay. February planning and regulation report.
Yep, you've seen the report in your package. Let me know if there's any questions, otherwise recommend it be received.
Any questions from Mayessa? No? Mover and seconder?
Moved.
Jim? John?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Cribble.
Yes.
Trudeau.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay. Motion to move into closed. Sharon? Jim?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yeah.
Cribble.
Yes.
Trudeau.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
And we're moving into closed at 10:44.